pushing this one on the end here. Ready? See how it's stuck? You want it to drop like all the rest of these. Get this thing working again. So what we're gonna do, sorry, I don't know if you saw those, but what we're gonna do here, looks like a cool cyborg hand. Check this thing out. So anyway, we're gonna punch this out with the awl. I'm not going to do it because I'm holding the phone for myself, but this is what I saw somebody else doing. You just couldn't see very well in their video. It's an old video. I mean, it was like 2017, but I've had this thing in storage for a long time, and I'm going to try this today. But before I do that, I'm going to take all my old keys. I got the rest of these in a bucket, but I'll take these out. And then just wash them in there too, because those get stuck, and it'll stop all this like fuzz from getting out. So I'm just going to take all this stuff downstairs with some soap and water. This is just chicken scratch stuff, but so I don't forget. But soap and water, and then we're going to do these with a little bit of sandpaper, I guess. I'm gonna sand the inside of these guys. So I'll try to get this in the light. So we'll sand the inside of that a little bit, and then I don't know if I got fine grit, but same thing with these. I'm gonna sand those a little bit. Somebody else said you can put a drill bit in it and spin it, but yeah, so maybe we'll try both of those. I don't know if I have a drill bit big enough for that, but we're just gonna take that end out and sand it until it falls correctly, and then we're gonna have to find some sort of lube. I'm gonna turn this thing off. Alright, so I mean, it should drop like a hammer, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Getting this one apart, this is one of the older ones, and I guess I'll upload this, but you got to be really careful with these things, these little felt hammers, where they hit. It's you know, it's got this sensor strip on it. I guess that's supposed to tell you how hard you're hitting the key down. But when I open mine up, this part right here, right there, it was wrapped around, where did I put my faceplate? It was wrapped around the faceplate on one of these, and I almost ripped it pulling it off because it was stuck to the bottom here. It was stuck to that. So if you got one of the older ones like I do, you got to be careful. The other thing I noticed is there's a there's a difference with this. So like there's a little access panel. If you go through the bottom, when this is open, there's like a square access hash right there, and I guess you're supposed to have a right angle screwdriver and pull these out. With a right angle screwdriver, I mean, you could just break them off. I wasn't a big fan of it. This one was broken when I got to it. So those little red rocket ship things, you only need a few of them. I guess there's some extras. But stuff like that is what I gotta avoid. It looks like it's got almost like battery acid or something, or it was like under a drip when it was in storage, and it was all going in on this end, and it fucked up that that little clip. They had one of these on the other end, and I'm not going to put these back on because when I got to it, and those little bolts, those little screws, when they get rusted. You can't get them off, and somebody stole some of my tools, so I had to take this thing and I had to file a slit into it so I could use my flathead screwdriver. But I had to pry that back, and you gotta turn it over. And you can't cut them because it's attached directly to the computer chip, so I got to be extra careful when I put these other screws back in that doesn't happen, because I mean, maybe I could have cut it, but you know, it's right next to the buttons. I don't know how safe it is to be cutting the corners out of this thing. You know, it's kind of, you never want to cut a computer chip because you don't know what's on the inner layers unless you're like a computer science guy or manufacturer, or, you know, computer chips guy. So that's it. I'm gonna tune this out, but yeah, just, you know, general mechanical error. I'm just gonna punch that out and sand it a little bit. So sand this thing, sand the inside, put some oil on it, some sort of mechanical oil. The one they told me to use on my car windows actually is probably good stuff for this. So it's white lithium grease. I guess that's what you want to use for electronics. I got mine at AutoZone, and I might still have some of that left, or actually I might just go take a finger scoop off the window motor itself in my car. So if you're cheap like me and that's how you want to do it, just take the door panel off your car and take a scoop of grease right off your window motor, because usually there's a lot on there. Maybe scoop it with a pencil actually, because those things are like a human mousetrap. But yeah, hope that helps anybody else that's in the community of first time maintenance. You know, I guess this is a skill. You get better at it the more you take things apart. But for me, this is the second thing since my car. And if you're like me and you tend to break screws and do stuff like that, and you need some help, here's a little bit of foresight into what you're getting into. Alright, later. A little rack removal. So these just pop right out. They should. Get that to stay up. Pop. Side here. So there's really got their little feet. Those will get stuck. Oh, let me see if I can get it in. It's sideways right now. So pull this, going up from the other side. Roll forward. These are culprits here. So let's see. it sticks. That one's a little slower. Like that one. It's stuck. Those two are stuck. So that is going to have to come out and get sanded or bored out with my drill bit. That one's stuck. So this one's got a pot. Oh, I already took the bar out of that one. Alright, that one's stuck. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 stuck so far. I'm gonna have to do a lot of these. That one's stuck. That one's stuck. Was that 5? Yeah, that's number 5. That was a little sticky. It's a little sticky. That was nice. That's about how it should be. Real playful. That's a slow press. The later it is, the better. That's 6. I'm going to do the whole thing. It seems like I got one stuck on every octave. That one's almost sticking. That's a lot. So I'll start with that one and then just work our way down. Do this 88 times. But I gotta charge my drill up so that I can spin it. Here's my drill. And I'm not sure what size this is. I think it's a 3/8. It doesn't say. That's an inch, so I think that's 3/8. So I think it's a 3/8 drill bit. I should be able to fit this right on there. Let's try one of these. But this is what the other guy did. So I guess he took the drill bit and he was boring out the plastic. I don't know if I can get this thing to focus. So I guess those get little catches and stuff. I'm a little afraid to do this, but I don't really have the right thing. And I just tried this with 80 grit, but it kind of overscored the middle. So I really need like 200. I might have 200 in my car, or actually rather 1,000, but you know, you do it with a, put this in the head of a drill, pinch it shut, and then spin it, and maybe you could hit it with a piece of sandpaper, kind of like a lathe. So that's what I'm thinking. And then just fill those grease rails like a regular engine. Well, you know, like a oil transfer groove. So yeah, that's that. This is the other part. I think I kind of forgot or didn't do on the last one because they took down the just the size of the bar, but everything is supposed to be 1/4, so this is a 1/4 bit, not a 3/8 or 1/4. So I didn't use the lithium grease just because it was on the other side of the window. I don't feel like taking the whole door off. Get to it. But yeah, it's got like a Cinnabon of death in there, and there's a bunch of that grease in them. So if you're already in there, maybe, you know, just take the window out. But I've done those a few times. They're not fun, but it's not a long job. It maybe takes about an hour or so. Yeah, so I'm reaming this one out. I did not do anything to the steel because I don't think taking the steel down is something you need to do. Just wipe it down, clean it, and then apply some new grease. But you gotta grease the supports. So like this is the stanchion, and when that bar is going through it, it still needs to be able. So like if the bars, you know, imagine the bars rotating and not the stanchion, but it needs to be able to rotate on that. So you clean the plastic off the key, and then clean the plastic that the rails are riding on, and then grease the whole thing. So rails, keyholes, and the bar.